All right, so Lauren, you can see my screen, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, the first thing that we're going to walk through, which is I'm sure that the first thing that everyone noticed about the new release is the different block types that we have added to the platform. So, we consider these more time-based blocks. Those are the AMRAP, or as many rounds as possible, the EMOM, every minute on the minute, and RFT, or rounds for time. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to jump into a program that I have already started to make. So I'll go into my program. I'm going to click into the June phase. And as you guys can see, I've already built out 3 days, for the demo, the webinar purposes. So I've got my warm up, and I'm going to go ahead and add. The first thing we're going to start off with our AMRAP functionality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over to Add Block. I'm going to click Add Block, and you'll see where we had these this kind of menu functionality before. And so now what you'll notice is if I click over or hover over New Block, I'll get prompted to a new menu. So that new menu now allows me to pick a new block, a superset block, which we've covered in previous webinars, but it also gives me down here our new time-based blocks. So we're going to start with AMRAP. Okay, so just so that we're all on the same page, before I jump into this, I'm actually going to click on, and you can click on to these icons to give you more information. So we talked about this at the beginning. AMRAP is as many rounds as possible. And so this is just a nice little pop-up window to show you how it's going to look in the builder over here on the left, and then how it's going to look on the phone. And so we're going to hold another webinar next week that will go over how all this is going to look from your athlete or your client's perspective on the phone. But for now, this little info pop-up window will just show you what they will see. So they will see the exercises, and they will see, how many rounds and reps. So if I click out of this, I'm going to click on AMRAP. And so it's going to prompt me to name this AMRAP. So I'm just going to call it Ryan's AMRAP. We're going to set it up to be 10 minutes. So as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes. I'm going to click on the green check mark here to confirm my entries. And it's immediately going to take me into the exercise window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my exercises. So I'm going to enter a barbell bench press, and then I'm just going to go with an upper push and a lower push. So we'll do a back squat, barbell, and select that. So now I've got my 2 exercises that are going to be included. Now, one thing that I will show you guys while we're on this page, just because we're kind of already here, is a new thing that we have added, which is the different exercise buckets. So what you'll notice here, and this will come into play a little bit later on, is now we've added this drop-down box. So this is going to help me to sort out all of my exercises. So I now have the ability to choose from all. I could choose the ones that are just in my specific organization. So if you've added your own videos, now you don't have to search through all of the videos. You could cut straight to yours, and then we have the Exos content. And so whatever exercises you pick and whatever bucket you pull out of, it's automatically going to default to that bucket the next time that you click in to select exercises. So we're just kind of limiting the clicks and giving you another way to separate or parse out your different exercises. So we'll kind of click on that or check back in on that here in a little bit, but I wanted to point that out while we're on this screen. So back to what we were doing with the AMRAP. So I've picked my 2 exercises. I click insert, and so they're displayed down here. And you'll notice, so I can switch out the exercise. I can clone the exercise. So if I clone this, it's going to drop down and allow me another bench press here. And I'm going to delete that. And then I can delete the exercise. What I can't do, which if I open up this block above, this will make more sense, So I can hover over the prescription and I can add another set to a normal block. I don't have that ability on the AMRAP because by nature, you are just going to be doing one set of bench and one set of back squat over and over again, as many rounds as you can get done. So just notice that that's not there. You may not ever have to worry about it, but we wanted to point that out. So what I'll do is I'll click into the exercise, and I can still go in just like normal, and I can pick, the parameters that I want to track. So for this instance, let's just say I want to do 5 reps of, we'll go with absolute because I'm going to assign the weight. And so now we've got 5 reps at 135 for bench. And then for squat, maybe we're going to do 5 reps at, let's say, I don't know, 205 for the squat. Now, if you're confused with any of this, go back to our earlier webinars. We have a lot more in-depth stuff on kind of how the parameters work, what these different methods of load prescription mean, all that kind of stuff, okay? But for now, we've entered in that stuff. And so we've got our AMRAP, all right? So a couple of things to notice now that we've built it out. The first is you've got this icon here that delineates that this block is an AMRAP, okay? You'll see different letters to delineate the EMOM and the rounds for time. But for now, these are, this is my AMRAP, okay? What I'll need to do next is what we call benchmark it. So when I create these blocks, we're now allowing you to track these blocks the same way you would track exercises. So once you have your athletes or your clients start doing these AMRAPs, these EMOMs, these rounds for times, you're probably going to want to pull those into, say, the leaderboard. Or maybe you want them to be able to go in and look and say, hey, I did 10 rounds this time. Last time I did 8. So I'm able to get more work done. So in order to do that, you need to link that to what we call a benchmark, okay? So I'm going to click on Save as Template or Benchmark. So I'm going to save this AMRAP as a template. And I'm actually, you'll see why, but I'm going to name this Ryan's Men's, we'll just say Male AMRAP. And it'll make sense more in a second. But I enter that template name. I click here to link it to that benchmark. I'm going to create a new benchmark, Ryan Male AMRAP. And you want to be as descriptive as possible with these. So I'm going to say bench squat. So that when I'm going back to look for these, I know exactly what makes up this AMRAP. So I hit save. And now I'm going to click that I want to link this benchmark, this template to this benchmark. And hit save. And now you'll see there's a star there. Okay, so we've got the A for AMRAP. We've got the star that's telling me this is benchmarked and it is linked to a leaderboard that we're going to be able to track this over time. Okay, so the reason that I built this out and the reason why I called this, in my template, Ryan's Male AMRAP, is because of what I'm going to show you now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clone this block. So you'll see this will pop up down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be, let's say 95 pounds for women and 185 pounds on the squat for women. But we still want those, even though the weights are different, we still want them linking into the same benchmark because we want to compare everybody in, let's say, a class. So we may have men and women, they're competing at 2 different weights, the male weight, the female weight, but we want to track the overall time. So I'll bring this up. It says it's linked to a benchmark. Are you sure you want to proceed with your edit? I'm going to say yes. And now I'm going to, let's see. Actually, what I'm going to do is just change this. Let's see here. Let's link to a benchmark. All right. Lauren, you want to help me out here? I'm not sure why this is not allowing me to do it.
After you're clicking yes, are you able to just type
there
yeah?
we go.
I think it just wasn't popping up because you were in you just had the cursor selected. So if you had typed previously, it would have just updated it there.
Got it. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, so now you can just type and it will update the 205 there without clicking it again. Yep.
There we go.
It's also
Okay.
In kilograms.
Oh.
It's okay though. For this, it
I
won't
have
matter
those
since
both
you won't be
there.
performing it.
Yep. So what I can do is after I'm done with this, I can go back. If you remember in a previous webinar, I can go back and make sure that I can change all of these units as well if I want to. But that's basically the AMRAP functionality. So now I've got two different variations of this, you know, and those are going to be tracked together. So now what we're going to do in the next day is I'm going to actually add the EMOM. So every minute on the minute. If I click on this I for information, you'll see here again that you know what it's going to look like in the builder and what it's going to look like on the phone. And so typically, you know, you have every minute on the minute, you can have every 2 minutes on the minute, you can have every 3 minutes, and you have the ability in here to program to those specific situations. So if I click on EMOM, and I call this, you know, Ryan's EMOM block. Let's see. And then I can say, you know, I want to do this for our purposes. I'm going to leave it as every minute on the minute, but you could say every, you know, 5 minutes. I could say every 7 minutes up to 10 minutes. And I want to do 10 rounds. Okay. So once I've made those choices, I click the check mark to lock it in. For this one, I'm just going to keep it simple. We're going to do push-ups. Let's go back and just do push-up. And let's just go with a regular air squat, or squat as we call it in here. And now I'm going to do, let's say 5 push-ups and 5 air squats every minute on the minute for 10 rounds. Okay, same thing as over here. I can't make 2 sets because it's by nature, it's 1 set of each. And then I come here and I click and I save this as a template or benchmark. We'll call it Ryan's EMOM 1, link to a benchmark. We've already got it in here, EMOM body weight, save, and now I can track results from this. And at the top, you'll notice now instead of that A for AMRAP, we've got an E for EMOM, and we've got it starred because we've got this block benchmarked and we're tracking it. Okay. The one thing I do want to point out while we're looking at this is I can't save benchmarks for 2 different kinds of blocks. So I can't have the same benchmark for an EMOM as I do for an AMRAP. You've got to have them separate. Okay. And then lastly, I'll go here, I'll add a block, and then we're going to add our rounds for time. If I click on the info piece there, I see how this looks in the builder. I also see how it looks on the phone to the end user. So I click on the rounds for time. We're going to do, let's say, 10 rounds. We'll call it Ryan's RFT block. Click OK. And now we're going to just do those same exercises. So push up and squat. And so we're going to do, let's say, 10 push-ups and 10 squats. How many rounds of that can we get done? What's our time going to be if we complete that for 10 rounds? You see we've got the R up there delineating that this is a round for time. So, you know, if this name was, you know, something different, it didn't include RFT, it didn't include EMOM, it didn't include AMRAP, You know, these could be, you know, whatever you want, but that letter there will tell you, the coach, what specific block type that is. Okay, click on the 3 dots, save as a template. Push up, squat, link to a benchmark. Push up, squat. You know, I always err on naming things as specific as I can so that I know exactly what's in those. Now I hit save, and now I've got that benchmarked. So those were the 3 different block, you know, time-based blocks that we have released. While we're on here, the next thing I'm going to do is we'll just pick this block right here because it's right in our field of view. I'm going to add a new block. I'm going to add a regular block just to show you that you now have the ability to, let's see, body strength. So you now have the ability to save set templates at the organization level. So let's say, again, we're going to do, let's go, I don't know if it's got military press. Nope. Let's just do bench press because I know that's in here. So we'll go bench press with dumbbells. All right. So when I go to add in the set rep scheme, you'll remember that I can say, you know, I want to do 5 reps at 70% difficulty, and we're going to do 3 rounds of that. So previously what I could do is, if I liked these, you know, if I use 5 at 70% quite a bit, I can come down here and I can save this as a template. 5 3x5 at 70% difficulty. So now I've saved that. Where things have changed, and now what I can do is I can come in, and let's say I want to add an exercise here. So now I want to go with, you know, a clean. So let's do a barbell clean. So I add that in here for whatever reason, and then I want to come in and I want to use my template sets to build faster. Well, now you'll see we used to just have recently used and my templates, but now what you can do is you can click on the org name itself and you can pull up any other set rep templates that anyone else in your organization has already built. Okay, so another way that we are allowing you to communicate, to collaborate together as a team. If you've got multiple coaches on the system, you guys can all pull from each other, cut the work, and build faster. Okay. The other thing that I was going to show you, actually what I'll do here is let's use that. So let's go recently used, and we'll just go with that to complete that. All right, so now let's say I want to add another exercise. When I click on add exercise, you'll see what we talked about before. So up here, I picked an exercise before from the Exos library. So now when I come in here to pull up a new exercise, it defaults me to the Exos content itself. So where that's going to be helpful is if you don't want to fumble around with all of the exercises that are in your system, or if you want to add your own library on top of that and you want to just default to your own library, you can choose that here, and the next time you pull up the exercise library, it's going to go right to your stuff. Okay, so it makes it a lot easier for you to sift through all of the exercises in here and pick the one that you want. All right, so the next thing that we are going to look at has to do more with some of the ways that you send out programming. So if I back out of this, and I'm going to jump into this Allison Fall Winter program that I've got here. So as you'll see when I pull this up, this was assigned on a playlist programming format. So if you go back and remember, we have 2 ways that you can send out programming. You can send out programming on what we call a calendar-based system. So if I know that everyone is going to have a set schedule, and let's say they're going to come in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next 4 weeks, I can set those and send that out. If I have a little bit more of a little bit of inconsistency to my training, so maybe I want to provide more freedom to my athletes and say, hey, I want you to lift twice this week, or 3 times next week, or 4 times a week after that, then we suggest you send it out via what we call the playlist program. So this person, Allison, has been sent a program through that playlist functionality. And what we've added here is the ability to move these days and shift these days around. So right now, this is the order that they're in: total body 1, total body 2, day 2, day 3, and all that stuff. So what I can do now is, if I want, I can move this day up here, okay? And I can move this one down here, and I can swap these around. So I have even more flexibility to reorder those workouts in whatever way that I would like. Okay, so that's one of the newest features we've added, is moving around those playlist days. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is printing. So hopefully you know by now that you have the ability to print on the platform. You can print for your athletes. They can print themselves. So if they log into the website on their own using their own username and password, they will be brought to their own page where they can print their workout. So if I just click back here real quick and show you, let's say I go into Alcatraz and I am, Barry Bates here. What I can do is if I sign in under my username and password as an athlete, I'll be brought to this page. I won't have these 3 options up here, but I will be able to print my workout. Okay, so your athletes can print their own workouts, or you can print them for them. But if I go back here 1 second, sorry to click around, but if I go back into Allison's workout and I come up here to the top to these 3 dots, I can click print, and now I can print either the week view or the load progression view. So again, if you don't know what these 2 things are, please go back and look at our previous webinars. We go into a lot of depth on the differences between these 2. But what I'm going to point out now is we've added the ability to include your exercise notes and your comments as a coach. So if I click that and I hit next, it's going to take me through, and I'm going to be able to print that workout. So I've already gone ahead and done that up here, so you can see this is what that workout card would look like. And what you can see the differences are now, we've got those notes up here. So you see where I've got my notes on trigger point and that glute med. So I've got it here, I've got it here. If I had other notes, they would be included, further on down. This note on the medicine ball chest pass, single leg continuous. So we've added the ability for you to input notes and have those print out with the workout cards if that's what's needed. I realize now that as I was shifting around, I built out the AMRAP and the EMOM stuff, but I didn't show you guys how that looks when you're tracking it. So I apologize for that, but we're going to jump back and take a look at that. So if I go into this conditioning squad team, what you'll see is we've already entered in some stuff. So anytime they complete any of those AMRAPs, EMOMs, rounds for time, they're going to flow into the activity report. So you're going to be able to see that we did full body, rounds for time, full body 2. These 4 athletes did it. These were their times. But then we can further go down to the leaderboards and test results, and we can see, let's see here. So it doesn't look like that saved, but I can edit this and I can include those benchmarks. So if I get rid of one, you'll see now up here at the top, remember I can add exercises, I can add metrics like, body weight or hours of sleep, and I can rank those on my leaderboard, but I can also include those benchmarks. So full body 2 is a rounds for time block. that I created as a benchmark. I can pull this up, and now, let me see, we've got a little bit of a bug there, but what I'll do is click on this and hit save. And now you'll see that I've got my rounds for time is now in my leaderboard. Okay, so you could push this up on a TV screen, you could show it off on the tablet, anywhere you want, and you're going to be able to track, hey, on this specific, AMRAP, EMOM, round for time, these were the athletes that did it. This is the date they did it on, and Mr. and Ms. Elliott here had the fastest time. Okay, so that's why it's important for you to benchmark those blocks that you're creating so that you can pull them up and you can show athletes that they're getting better, they're getting more efficient, they're getting faster at the training. Before I wrap it up, the one last thing that I did want to mention that we're going to follow up with next week, as I said, with how this is going to look for the athlete or the client, the end user. We're going to discuss some of the stuff. We just recently added what we're calling the team stream on the tablet, which is the ability to text, send pictures, send video to your athletes or clients from your iPad or Android device. And then we're going to go over some COVID-specific questionnaires that we've added on the mobile device. So with that, I'll pass it off to Lauren and we can answer some questions.
Great. So one of the questions that came in was asking if we could repeat the new feature around playlist programs. So this feature was being able to drag and drop to rearrange the order of the workout days. Previously, this was only available for calendar programs, but we can go ahead and show how to do that again.
Sure. So let's jump back into my program that I created for this. We've created our 3-day-a-week program. We're going to send it out. So when we go to assign training, we'll find a team. So I'll just pick Alcatraz. Don't worry about the multiple active programs. That's something that we've gone over previously. But if I hit next, now we'll see where we've got this option. So I can program my workouts on a calendar. So there's 3 training days in the program that I built. So I want those to happen on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I want that program to start next week. Remember, we only built out 1 week, so that's going to drop in those days. Now, if I want, I could change this to that workout as a playlist, and it's going to remove that calendar, and now the end user can go through and do those workouts as many times as they want. The program is not going to end unless you end it yourself, but it gives them a ton of flexibility and freedom. So you can create, multiple different options within that program for your athletes. Let's say one is a high intensity workout, a medium intensity workout, a low intensity workout. Maybe there's a 30-minute workout, a 45-minute, a recovery day in there, a pool workout, a hotel workout. And so now your athletes can pull up your playlist or their playlist program, and they can pick the day that they're going to do based off the equipment, the time they have, where they're at, maybe where they're at in their training. So it just gives them more flexibility in terms of how they utilize the training that you're giving them. But this is where you would select the option to either assign it out as a calendar or as a playlist program. Hopefully that answered the question.
I think they want to see how we do the drag and drop again too. So if you could assign this program, then we can just show it from here.
Yeah. So assign the training. So it's assigned to Frank. No. All right. So now we go into this where this has now gone from a unassigned program to an assigned program. So it looks different up here. We've still got the phase and the 1 week and the 3 days, but now we've got who that is assigned to, and we've got our 3 days. So from here, I can just click on day 3, and maybe I want to shift that to actually be day 2 now. Or I want to move day 1 to be day 3.
Yeah, and then this will change the order the athlete's seeing it on their app. So for example, if day 1 was upper, day 2 was lower, day 3 was total body, just as an example, and then you decide, oh, well, I want day 1 to be total body, you can rearrange it here, and then when the athlete clicks to view the workout or to view the playlist, the order the workouts are in will change based on what you just changed there. Yeah, so if we name the workouts, this will also help demonstrate this a little bit better as well.
So now if I want these days to be different, if I want to have lower body go first, then I can drag and drop and move that there.
Yep, and then that change will be reflected on the athlete's app as well. So the first workout they see in their list will be lower, and then they'll see total body, and then they'll see their upper body workout. So this is just a quicker way to do it than going back into the builder and making the adjustment by dragging and dropping the days, and we also find it a little bit easier to do it here on the calendar level.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, great. We just got another question in. Any way to switch a playlist program to a calendar option? Later phases also seem to be on playlist. So once a program is assigned, it cannot be changed to a playlist. If it's assigned as a calendar, it can't be changed to a playlist once it's assigned, and vice versa. The only way to change the way the program is assigned is to clone it and reassign that program. So Ryan, if you could show us how to clone a program. Yeah, so you clicked up the 3 dots, and then on the drop-down menu, you select clone. So now a copy version will automatically load. You can adjust the name as Ryan's doing here, and then reassign the program in the version you would like. So if you would like it to be a calendar or playlist, you can make the adjustment there. Additionally, if you want their first phase to be calendar, and then you decide for their second phase you want it to be a playlist program, when you do this clone, you can go in and delete the first phase so they're not seeing that when they're opening their playlist program, and the first phase they're seeing is the phase that they're on. And then another thing to note, just with when you clone a program, it won't make any changes or affect the original program. It's a complete new copy of the program.
Yep.
Thanks for both the questions that we've had come in so far. Those are the only 2 we've had, so we'll take a quick second to see if anyone else has any other questions about any of the features or just in general.
Yeah, so the one thing that reminded me was, if you guys remember, if I click into here when I was making this, you know, I have the bench press in pounds and the squat in kilograms. So if I want to go back, what I can do is, if I click on these 3 dots, you'll see I have the option to change the units. And I can say I want all the weights to be in pounds, or I want all the weights to be in kilograms. And then I can change these other measurements as well, apply units to the program. And now when I click into here, you will see that these are both in pounds. I don't know why that's 472. I guess it did the conversion for me.
Converted it, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also change it if it's just like one simple one that you incorrectly label, like we did here, building it out. You can change it by clicking into the exercise.
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
Sorry,
great. We have another question that came in. If we use calendar programs, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if they miss Wednesday, can they make up that workout on Thursday, or does it just skip to Friday and they can't make it up? So this is a great question. When on the athlete's app, if it's a calendar program, they can go back and complete any missed workouts as long as the program is still active. So in this example, if they miss Wednesday's workout and they want to complete it on Thursday, they can definitely do that. If they don't have a workout scheduled for that Thursday, that they're going to complete their Wednesday workout, our app will ask if they'd like to move the workout to today, so Thursday. And if they click yes, it will automatically shift on their calendar to reflect this change. So it just kind of keeps their attendance a little bit more accurate. If they decide to say no, or if they do have another workout scheduled for Thursday, but they also would like to complete the workout that they missed on Wednesday, they can do so and it will remain on Wednesday on the calendar. But as the coach, when you go to their athlete calendar on the web, you can click on that workout and at the top it will say completed on, and it will show that it's a different date than the date that it was assigned to be completed. So we can just show maybe where that would be, Ryan. I don't know if we'll have an example ready for an athlete that completed a workout on a different day.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm not sure if we do because I don't know how many calendar programs we have on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one is a calendar program right now. But, oh, here's a calendar program. But yeah, just to reiterate, yes, workouts can always be completed if they're missed. So athletes don't need to be too stressed if they miss a workout. They can always make it up. And they can also contact you to let you know that they're going to be doing it on a different day using our in-app messaging, the team stream, which they can access from their Bridge Tracker mobile app. So let's say, for example, if this athlete did complete this workout on the 26th, right below where the May 25th date is, it would say completed on May 26th, just so you can stay in the loop on if they did it on a different day.
Oh, it's an off season.
Yeah, so I guess it just won't change it there.
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question. Oh, we have another one that came in. Is there a way to assign forms to clients to complete on their cell phones remotely, such as the new client onboarding forms? So we do have some forms available on the mobile app. Let me pull up a list of them real quick. But workouts that, forms can't be assigned to an athlete to complete. You can send them a message asking them to complete one of their mobile forms. If the form you want them to complete is not available on the mobile app, but you have access to it on the web, you can send them the questions and then manually update the form. But the mobile forms we do have are body comp extended, FMS, goal check-in, player health questionnaire, vertical jump and grip test, wellness, and a wellness form. So any of those forms, your athlete can click on the plus sign in the bottom left corner of their homepage on the app, and they'll see an option to submit a mobile form. And they can go ahead and fill it out, and then their answers will flow into the assessments module on the web, so that it's available on both the athlete profile page and the team page.
Yeah, we've also got the COVID form on there right now.
Oh, yes. I just didn't add that to my list of mobile forms. Yes, and the COVID form. So we have a new questionnaire that we'll be highlighting in our webinar next week, as Ryan mentioned. That's kind of just a checklist to help trainers that are starting to go back into some in-person training ensure the health of their client before they are interacting. Okay, and then our next question, can I assign another program to the same client which overlaps with the first? So yes, you can do that. In order to have 2 workouts assigned to an athlete, they will need to be on 2 separate teams. So for this example, you can have their regular workouts on Monday, Wednesday, Friday assigned to one team, and then if you want them to be doing a yoga flow on Tuesday and Thursday, they'll need to be added to a separate team, and then that program can be assigned to them through that team. On the athlete side, this is pretty simple to navigate. They can just toggle between the 2 teams to complete the workout based on the day that it is. So we can show you quickly how to add athletes to 2 teams. So Ryan, you can do it from the members module. That's usually where I do it. Yeah, great. So you can click into the members module and you'll see here every single athlete that's in your organization's listed out. If you hover over their name on the right side, it says edit teams. So if you were to click on that, a little box will pop up and you can go ahead and select the other teams you would like to add them to. So here we add, they can be a part of a lot of teams. So it doesn't have to be just 2 teams. If you want them to have 3 different programs, so maybe you want them to have a recovery program as well, you can add them to another team. And then you can pick the names of the team that will best help you stay organized with what work they'll be doing.
And then if you're on a strength coach program, you can have, that's one of the advantages to the strength coach program, is you can have multiple programs running concurrently at once. So for instance, if I click on Alcatraz, you'll be able to see here, I can click this drop down and I've got 4 different programs running concurrently for Kyler.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another question. Can I add a yoga class for teams or kids while they still keep existing programs moving forward, making a new team? Yeah, so if you wanted to add a yoga class or a yoga program for your athletes, you would just assign them to a new team and add that program, and it won't affect their current program on their other team. So then when they log into their app, they can just choose which team they would like to go into to complete that workout. And then they can toggle back in between teams.
I don't know what team they would be a part of, but you know, I'm just showing how you would set that up.
Yeah, so you can create a new team, and I don't think it will work since you didn't select a sport. Oh, I guess it did. And then you can just add them to that new team and assign them their new program. And then they'll have both programs running at the same time. Okay, let's see. We have one more question about forms. Is there any possibility to add these forms to the list of forms that they have access in the future? Grace, maybe, I'm not exactly sure which form you're referring to that you would like to be added to mobile forms. You can send a message into us at support@bridgeathletic.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you a little bit about this more in depth and get this question answered for you. So if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to send them in, and because we have a little bit of time left. Oh, she said the client intake form. Yeah, so I'll talk to our team and see if this is a form that we can get added to mobile. But yeah, please feel free to send me a message into support and we can talk about this a little bit more as well. And that goes for anyone that's still listening. If you have any follow-up questions, or as you're starting to go through and play around with these new features that we highlighted and new questions pop up, you can feel free to send them into us at support@bridgeathletic.com, or you can send us a chat message. So you can access the chat by clicking on the icon next to the notification bell. Ryan, if you could maybe highlight. So to the left of the notification bell, there's like the little smile. Yeah. So that's our support chat. You can click on that and type in your message or click send message and type us a message, and it will start a chat between us. And then we got one last question about a recording for this webinar. Yes, we record every webinar and we'll be sending out the recording shortly. So you all have access to it and can use it to refresh your memory on any of these features as you begin to implement them.
And one thing I'd like to add, hopefully you'll get a questionnaire after this, but if you have any ideas on future webinar topics you guys would like to see, please send those in to support@BridgeAthletic as well. We always like to hear feedback on what we can add or do differently on these things.
Yeah, definitely. We want to make sure that these are staying as useful and relevant as possible. So hearing the things that you'd like to talk about would be great. Okay, we have one last question. Ryan, I think this one might be more geared towards you. Can you use VBT with this?
Yes. So if you go into your programming, we'll go into this one that we created before. And as I'm doing the prescription here, so one of my parameters is velocity. So what I can do is I have a couple of options. So I can leave this empty and let the athlete or myself maybe in the training environment fill that in, or I could enter in, that I want them to do this at different velocities, and they can then they know that what's expected of them. So that's how I would go about doing the velocity-based training. You can change these as well. I mean, most people, I would assume, are tracking via meters per second, but you can change that as well.
Great. Thank you all for sending in these questions. And again, if any others come up, feel free to send them into us at support or send us a chat message, and we'll be happy to get them answered for you.